All right, so this is vlog number 3, and I've received tons of feedback, and I'm grateful to those who are willing to give it their time and share some of their thoughts with me just to help me get better, especially NOS91, get well, my brother. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. In the last vlog, I went over the history of how the business got started and our first football season. Not all that lasted 30 minutes. I realized that it was just a small part of everything that took place. Obviously, there is no way for me to cover all the details of the business, but hopefully I touched on the parts that were important. I also feel an urgency to get through the history part so that I can actually start documenting the day-to-day activities, which are probably a lot more exciting than the back history. But having said that, I still feel it's important for me to finish up with the history as it offers a glimpse into the foundation of the business. So speaking of the foundation, as important as the business fundamentals are that we use to create and grow the business, I also think it's equally important for me to discuss the mindset which helped us make a lot of decisions that were essential for the business to be where it is now. So let me begin by sharing what the business is about. Because even as I record this, we've moved in a couple different directions, but what we're about has stayed the same, although the way that we share the message has changed quite a few times. And I find all of that very interesting, since when we started, we were so sure about where we were going to be in our second year, and it's totally changed. So the name of the company is Rookie Wear. It's a Polynesian designed apparel line. And Rookie Wear is spelled R-O-O-C-I. You can see that there, R-O-O-C-I. And it's a play on the sports term rookie. Following the belief that regardless of what level we've achieved in our personal or professional or athletic life, everyone started out as a rookie. And again, the most common use of rookie is in that sports setting, which was a factor when we first got started. We described ourselves as a Polynesian designed sports apparel line, and we've changed since then. Also, the other side of that message is that each of us are rookies in some aspect of our life, that because we are always trying to learn something new, as well as trying to improve ourselves or continue to develop personally, understanding that perfection is never obtained, only worked towards. That message has led us to use the branding message, become a champion, begin a rookie. And we change out the word champion depending on what type of marketing we're doing. We've used become a winner, begin a rookie, become a warrior, become an artist, become better, but always beginning a rookie. Now, also with rookie being spelled R-O-O-C-I, we use it as an acronym for rise over opposition, conquer the impossible. And I think the message is obvious, but if taken seriously, it's as powerful as any message out there that can be used to help motivate, inspire, or strengthen. And it's such a universally important message, the notion that everything is possible, and that oppositions or obstacles should never be allowed any power to stop us from achieving what it is that we want to achieve. And also, it's important that we act on overcoming and not just think about it. And with the Polynesian side, as Polynesians, we use the traditional designs of the South Pacific, which are probably most recognized in tattoo form by Polynesians and non-Polynesians alike. But what's special about being able to use these images is that the cultural design in almost any form is already recognized as a symbol of strength. And that comes from cultural pride and the warrior spirit of the South Pacific Islanders. Now, the credit for this connection to power and strength should be shared equally throughout all of the South Pacific Islands, as we see great examples of this warrior mentality in the boxing world with David Tua, Joseph Parker. There have been many have come before those two as well. UFC, we have Max Holloway, In basketball, we have Adams, Peyton Siva. The New Zealand All Blacks rugby team made the haka a recognized warrior dance worldwide, and that's now performed by high school teams and college teams nationwide. Disney's Moana, of course, brought the Polynesian culture to the forefront. And then we have the most electrifying man in sports entertainment today. Can you smell it? What The Rock is cooking? Dwayne Johnson, in my opinion, the ideal ambassador for everything that is strong about Polynesians. But where we have found an opportunity to really showcase our message is through the ever-increasing number of Polynesian athletes that showcase their abilities as Polynesians through American football. And that's from Pop Warner to high school to NCAA and of course into the NFL. And as the image of the Polynesian athlete is becoming more and more common every weekend in high school stadiums and televisions, Saturdays and Sundays nationwide, Rookie Wear recognizes that there is a need for an apparel brand that represents and recognizes the growing trend of Polynesian culture and Polynesian athletes. Another connection just recently shared with me is that Polynesians as a culture could be viewed as rookies to the sporting world, as well as our mainstream recognition. Our emergence in the spotlight in almost every example that I've shared, if viewed through a historical timeline, Polynesians are the ultimate rookies, brand new to really all of this, and coming from a completely different background than what a lot of this the athletics offers. Thanks, Ant, again for pointing that out. Now, just like the history of the business, I am only scratching the surface in describing the message and the background of Polynesian athletes and the focus of Rookie Wear. But let me get back to the business history and how this message that we share has been a driving force for how we've grown the business and how we've made certain decisions. I really believe that in order for us to try and share this type of message, we have to believe in its principles, which we do wholeheartedly. Also, I believe that we as a team and as a business are very fortunate to be able to feed off of the positive energy that comes from constantly talking about this message and constantly trying to figure out a better way to share this message worldwide. And I think it's inevitable that we benefit from keeping that mindset at the top of mind. So at this point in the business, based on the last vlog, we have our own license, and we've got some verbal commitment from BYU, University of Utah, Pro Image, and Fans, which are two large sports apparel companies. And now, although I'm trying to get through the history quickly, I don't want to minimize the view of the work that we went through to secure these accounts. So let me touch on that quickly. Now, although at BYU we were told, get the license and they would place an order, we ran into some pretty big challenges very quickly. Initially, our plan was to create a sublimated design on polo shirts. And if anyone out there is interested in understanding how sublimated printing works or why we decided to do sublimation, I can share what I know on that. So again, sublimation on polo shirts. We had a sample created and we took that sample into BYU, and the lead buyer there at BYU, instead of placing an order, what we got was an education on the nuances of button placement, of stitching, of tagging, brands, cost, material. You name it, we almost did almost everything wrong. She was very nice about it, But we left realizing that although our designs, which was the only thing that she really loved, although our designs were second to none and still are, we knew nothing about the product that we were trying to sell, that we were placing our designs on. So we went to work learning as much as we could about that. And that came through visiting printers and asking questions, going back to the buyer, being sent away again because we missed this or we missed that. And she was very patient with us and has been just such a great help. And we owe her a lot for where we are now. But I think that's a good segue into a critical decision that I was faced with during this time. Just before football season started, I was employed full-time with the company that I loved. I helped startup businesses get business funding. And it was something that I really enjoyed, something I was successful at, had a lot of experience in it. I had great workers, I had a great boss. He was actually one of the co-owners of the company. Great work environment, great benefits, flexible time schedule. My ping pong game was at its highest level at that point. And I was able to work rookie while I was at the office. And partly because at that point, a lot of it was finishing up on the licensing agreement, and which could be done through emails, and then emails and phone calls to potential vendors. So again, things that I could do at the office. But once we received the license, everything changed. Now we had to get our designs on actual product and find distribution for that product. And that meant finding the right printer. And for any apparel line that if you have any questions about what to look for in a printer, please leave comments below. I would love to share what I know about that and how important that is. And it also meant going out there and pitching our product, which could only be done by knocking doors, really. So we had to push to set up meetings and sit down with buyers and convince them to take this financial risk on this unknown and untested brand. And so this led me to start contemplating my future at my current job. I did my best there to handle both workloads, but I couldn't be obviously in two places at once. And so I really had to make a decision. So I ended up going into my boss's office, and he knew about Rookie Wear. He was a BYU fan, and we talked about the business almost daily. He also knew that I spent time working on the business at the office, and it was okay with that. And all that kind of made it harder for me to actually go in and talk with him. So I go in, I sit down, and I tell him, well, I'm at this crossroads, and I'm trying to figure out what to do. And he asked, is the business paying you a comparable salary to what you're earning here? And the obvious answer was no. The business isn't paying anyone at that point, and still not at this time. But he tells me that he is not going to be the one to discourage me from starting my own business. And I think as the owner of the company, that made sense. He understood what I was doing, but then he made this comment to me that I reflect on quite a bit, and I realized it was that very specific comment that pushed me over the line, I guess, to really make the decision that I was going to make. I don't remember exactly how he said it, but in essence, it was that if you want to chase your dream, go for it. But I think you're naive to expect results, or successful results is probably more accurate to what he said. Now, I don't remember anything that was said after that. To me, the conversation was over. Anything else that didn't really matter. I got up and said, all right, well, I will give me a day and I'll get back to you with my decision. And I think it's pretty obvious what I chose. But Well, let me go back. I of course had other motives that drove me to be part of Rookie, and I would never make an important decision based on someone else's opinions. But I do think it was that challenge that sparked the competitive nature in me that makes me think to even this day. We'll see about that and how I'll prove him wrong. But I mean, again, a great guy. And I think he was sharing. The comment was meant to be sincere based on his experience and knowledge. And I should probably send him a shirt or something because he really was a big help in helping me make this decision, which I'm happy with now. And again, I would love to hear from anyone who's had that same experience or had to have that same conversation that way. I don't think I'm so crazy, but leaving I guess what can be considered a stable employment to take the risk of entrepreneurship. Anyway, so I think this is a good place for me to end. Just to recap, we built this Rookie brand to share a mindset that we start as rookies and are still rookies in different parts of our lives. Rookie stands for Rise Over Opposition, Conquer the Impossible. The use of the Polynesian designs are connected to the warrior spirit that they represent. And as a business, we believe in these principles and have used these principles to make important decisions and will continue to use them to make critical business decisions. And we'll continue to look to these messages personally for inspiration in our own lives. Also, we received a lot of help from a number of different sources and know that we will continue to need help. In the next vlog, I want to talk about what happened when I walked away from that job. It really dawned on me that this is a real business and it needed to be treated that way. So again, please share any comments, feedback. Love to hear from you guys. Thanks. Let's get to work.